Hello, and thank you for joining me for this review and guide to the Flymo PowerVac 3000. This video is for you if you're considering buying, have just bought, or having problems with the Flymo PowerVac 3000. And particularly if you're having a problem with the PowerVac not starting after use or for the first time, it's very easily fixed. Just watch this video through and you might feel a little bit silly, but you shouldn't. It's such a simple thing that is easy to overlook. And if you're looking to buy this 3-in-1 vac, mulcher and blower, I would actually highly recommend it. So do watch this video. I think you'll be sold on the item by the end. I received no endorsement from Flymo. This is a product I bought myself because I judged it to be the best in its category, and after testing it and using numerous other models, I would definitely say this is the best corded combination leaf blower and vac available on the UK market at the moment. And when I say corded, that just basically means it has a power lead that runs from the mains. Now this is a very comprehensive video, so if you want just a concise section concerned with the area you're worried about, like for instance it might be starting, or you're just not worried about the unboxing of the and putting together the item, just skip ahead. It's in the description, so just jump ahead. I won't be offended. However, I would say there's a lot of value watching the whole video because there's lots of little tips right the way through. So I've got some bits to help me clear the leaves in the garden, and I'll put some links in the description to this video on what I'm using. It'll also be on the gardening.org website. And I've gone for this Flymo Vac 3000. So I've treated myself to a new leaf blower and vac, and it's me trying to move away from petrol. Now this is a corded one, so it does run off the mains. However, we've got solar panels and it's a bright sunny day and it will be the only appliance I'm running, so hopefully the sun will actually power this. Got some fleece lined gloves there, some groovy clearing up tools, a rake and a brush, RCD, so that's to plug into my mains so that I don't trip the mains to the house if for some reason the power trips on the appliance. And I've got an extension lead, an outdoor extension lead, just in case. So I'm going to pop this thing together. It basically has a blowing function. So, and then you switch around the whole configuration of the machine rather than just a switch, which is a little bit more work, but it actually means that it works properly, so you can then vac up items, and I'll show in both examples. The idea with this is that when you do vac up, it will break down the volume of the leaves. And I believe it says 16:1 is the mulching rate. So yeah, it will break down the volume of leaves at a rate of 16:1. It also has a little leaf scraper on the bottom of the hose, and the bag capacity is 45 litres. So let's get this put together and get out and clear some leaves. The strap. So there's just the basic strap there. There's something there where you go on and you extend it to a 2-year free guarantee, so that's worth doing. And there's the instructions. Okay, nice and simple, we hope. Up here. Oh no, that will be to do with the vac side of it. Take this tube out first. There you go. So there we have the bag. See there, we've got the bag. And what's good with this is it looks like it's already attached nice and firmly. That's quite often a big issue with a lot of these blowers. Looks like it's got a little present in there for us. Take that out. And that'll be the slimmer one for the blower, slimmer part of the hose for the blower there. This is the big part of the hose. Yeah, it comes in 2 pieces. You can already see that will be the scraper there. I'm just going to jump ahead and sort of show that these will basically fit together. We've got the main body of it here. That's it here. So you see, nice, light, simple unit, nice robust on-off switch, very simple. Good holding facility. Now when you're blowing you're going to be using it like this. When you're vacuuming it's round the other way. Okay, so you're using it like that. Take that off there. And as you can see on the vac part here, this is part of all the mechanism that's going to go together. And if you look down there you can see the blow. But this also will double as the sort of out feed for the bag. Okay, so now I'm going to put together this. That's it. So with this little clip at the top, you can see it's going to feed in to a space there. That's it, clipped in nicely. And the idea is that then you press down this bit here to release it. Okay, that's it. I'm going to fit this piece on next. So with this piece, it's important to almost fit it at a right angle first. So you've got this lug here, you can see the screw bit's going to be there. And then make sure it's firmly down and it will just feed in there properly. If you don't do it properly, like you're trying to do it like that, it won't feed in. Okay. That's that, and you just screw that up there. There you go. Okay, fabulous. And you'll see it sort of locks in this part here as well. Now, I would think there's probably a sort of dead man mechanism on this where it trips out if it's not locked in place. So as far as we're concerned, now that bottom bit's on, that's pretty much it ready to go. You would just undo the cable. It's really important with cable and with extension leads that all the cable's out, because it builds up a lot of heat in these cables and they can melt. The cables start fires, etc. like that. Okay, I'm going to show you the vac next. Putting the 2 bits of hose together is very simple. Get the bit with the screw there. Make sure the bit with the scraper there is at the bottom. You just line it up. It's got a little guide there. What you'll see is you want the 2 bits with these little clip holes to be lined up with each other. And you just press it in. You need to be fairly firm with it, so I just literally leant down on it from above, just put my weight on it, making sure that it's all lined up. Okay, and you'll see sort of there's some seams here at the side that will all line up. Okay, so with a blower now, we want to change it to a vac. So we take this bottom bit off here. You see that? So make sure that's unscrewed. That's it, yeah. So that will again come out on that rotation and pop off there. And the top of the hose, you'll see, has the same sort of fitting. So it goes on like that. Again, right angle, switch round, clips in. Just going to make sure that you're sort of pressing it in as you're tightening it up. You might hear it click a few times, and that's good because what it is just rotating around a little bit. That's it. There we go. And what I'm trying to do, you see, is make sure that that's clipped in, locked into there as well. That now has created my vac, which will be round sort of like that. And now all I have to do is unclip this. Okay. We have our bag here. So there's the bag. You'll see it's got the same clip as the blower. There we go, that clips in there. Just make sure that's there. And again, that comes off just the same as the blower. And then those little bits that I showed you earlier that need to line up are just here really, and that's what the bag clips into to take the weight of the bag. So now you can see we've got a bag there. All set up, ready to go, and it will be held up this way. Okay. Last thing to show is the strap. The strap will clip in here. There we go. So it's clipped in there, and you just adjust the strap to whatever you like, and it just clips in like that, and that can go over your shoulder, just to help take the weight. Obviously if you're backing, it's going to be sort of up, normally up this position, up, but if you're blowing, that's going to be round another way if you feel you need it. I would say it's probably more useful for the heavier hose and that with the vac than it is with the blower, but you might still want it. That's it, let's get outside and use it. So I'm going to give you a brief taste of the noise level. So I do recommend you wear hearing protection and eye protection. Now I think we'll just switch to some backing soundtrack. So I'm just switching around from the blower to the bag, and I've done like I demonstrated before. And this is what I was talking about can happen with this model. I picked up on this when I was reading some of the reviews, is that you notice it's this bit of plastic on this rotation, even though that could be tight there, this isn't actually sitting properly, and there's a little bit of metal there. You see that? That's actually like a dead man, like a cut off. So if you try and use it now, let's try it. Yeah, I'm flicking the switch, nothing's happening. So, and that's because I didn't house it properly in its fitting. So I've got to unscrew it. There we go. Rotate it around again to 50-degree angle. So you'll read in some of the reviews on this is that it stopped working after first use, and that's because what they'd done is they'd obviously taken it apart, put it back together, and not made sure that that fits snugly in there, fitting that, and that's what I was talking about. So I like to put pressure on here and then tighten that at the same time, and then you know that it's gonna click in there nicely. Okay, so this is a bit more of a faff than the models that you'll see where it's just a simple switch to switch between vac and blower. But the problem is that you're making a compromise with those ones. You're using the same system to vac and blow. With this, you're using the machine in two different ways. So there we go. And now I'm going to show you how this vac works. And here's a brief demonstration of just detaching the vac bag and emptying it. Right, so I'm going to empty my bag of mulched up leaves into a black bag, and what I'm going to do is do this to make leaf mould, which is an excellent sort of mulch and soil improver. And I'm going to store it in these black bags because I'll probably have to move the bags about a bit in the garden if they get in the way, so I haven't got a permanent like leaf mould storage area. So all I'm going to do is, I could fill up the bag and then use a fork to make holes in it, but I've got a little safety knife here, and I'm just going to make a few holes as we go along. Now this is all just leaf, so I've been quite careful with the stuff I've vacked up so far, just to make sure that it's all just leaf. There's not, you know, anything else in there. And then what you want to do is then store this for I would say a couple of years minimum, really, if you can. So use a fairly decent black bag if you can, or garden waste bag, or even better, make a permanent store. And you want to keep the leaves in there reasonably moist, which is why a black bag works well. If you were doing a permanent store with something like a mesh, then you'd want to perhaps put some water from a can or a hose over some dry bits. Now in a moment I'm going to also pick up some leaves from the lawn that didn't blow off, but that stuff will go direct into the compost bin because it will have bits of grass in and things like that. Right, that's that done. And the difference between sort of composting, that uses like a bacterial breakdown, as with this system uses like a fungal breakdown. So it takes a bit longer than composting, but it does just produce the most amazing material. Now, I don't have to worry about these leaves being too dry that I'm putting in, because they're wet. They're plenty wet. So all I've done is unzip my bag. See the shoots there, I've unzipped the bag as I showed. Just put the bag to the bottom of that bag and just shake it out. Now this is a 45 litre bag with this blower. I prefer not to fill it all the way because it starts upsetting the vac mechanism, and also it gets really heavy and cumbersome. So I'd rather just empty it a few times. Now, as far as longevity on this machine's concerned, my only two concerns really would be this zip on the bag. That could go, but you know, we'll just have to see how we get on with that. I haven't seen any reviews that say the zip's gone. The other thing would be the actual mechanism for mulching up is plastic rather than metal, which most of them are at this price range. It's not really until you get onto the sort of petrol stuff that you get a metal one, sort of mulching mechanism. But potentially if I was vacuuming up stuff which wasn't leaf, you know, sort of harder stones, larger stones or twigs or things like that, I could potentially damage that mechanism. But for the moment all's good, and I'm being careful what I do with it. And like I say, it's not costing me anything to power because the solar panels are, it's a nice bright day, the solar panels are working, so it's just fed straight off the solar panels off the roof. So brilliant. And it's worth quickly mentioning that as well as the safety lock with the main tube that I was talking about, the power cut-off, there's also one here which would be either for the blower fitter or the bag. So you need to make sure that that is clipped in properly, because otherwise it won't start. So for instance, I'll demonstrate. One switch now, nothing. Put that in, working.